This stream is proudly supported by the Institute's national corporate partners, BlueScope, Dulux, BRICKWORKS, Bondor, Lysart, Fielders, Bosch, Built Environment Channel, NBS, Planned Cover, Architecture Media, and the Queensland major state partner, Hutchinson Builders.
Well, good evening and welcome to the 2021 Sunshine Coast Regional Architecture Awards. I'm Viv O'Connell and it's my pleasure to be hosting these awards tonight, not only for the Institute's members who are celebrating right now at Pier 33 in Mooloolaba, but to everyone joining us wherever you may be. I hope you all enjoy your night. I'd like to first begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of country throughout Queensland and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and community. I would like to acknowledge the Gubbi Gubbi and Jinnabara peoples of the Sunshine Coast region, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the culture and hopes of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across the nation. Well, tonight's awards are part of the Australian Institute of Architects' prestigious National Awards program. Each of the regional commendation recipients announced tonight will progress through to the Queensland State Awards shortlist. Good luck to you all. I'd like to thank the Institute's national corporate partners, including Principal Corporate Partner BlueScope, for their support of the awards program across the country. And I'd also like to give a special thanks to the Queensland Chapter major sponsor, Hutchinson Builders, and the local partners, Illumico, Hika Hoods and Innovative Planning Solutions. And now, to set the scene, I'd like to hand over to the Institute's National President, Alice Hampson.
Awards celebrate professional excellence, but they're also deeply embedded in the profession's concern for the public interest, showcasing what we proffer to individuals, communities, businesses, governments, and our shared futures. Spaces and places imbued with greater beauty, amenity, and humane qualities perspicuously improve our cities, towns, rural landscapes, and most importantly, improve lives. Collectively, the awarded works tonight exhibit the richness, intelligence, visceral qualities, complexity, individuality, and the delight of regional architecture. Queensland is a vast place, the world's 6th largest subnational polity. If it were an island, it would be the world's 2nd largest behind Greenland. As an independent nation, it would be amongst the world's 20th largest in geographical area. Bigger than the whole of South Africa, bigger than any US state, bigger than any Canadian province. Its borders could accommodate all of France, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, Austria and Poland. Queensland is staggering not just for its sheer size, but for its decentralisation, the only mainland state where over half the population live outside the capital. It boasts 1/3 of Australia's 30 most populous cities, including the largest city located in the northern half of Australia's continental landmass, that's Townsville, and Australia's largest inland city apart from Canberra, that's Toowoomba. It includes the 2 largest tropical cities in Australia, Townsville and Cairns, each of them outsizing their nearest rival, Darwin. The state's capital and its largest city, Brisbane, is located in the lower extreme right-hand corner. Other state capitals tend to be situated roughly at the midpoint of their state's maritime edges, but Brisbane is situated within the first 100 kilometres of a coastline which stretches for another staggering 6,300 kilometres. Brisbane is closer to Canberra than Townsville, closer to Melbourne than Cairns, closer to Adelaide than Normanton, closer to Hobart than Thursday Island. These unique features of Queensland's geography combine with an unmatched beauty and diversity of terrain and climate to create an architectural canvas which exists nowhere else in the world. For our Institute's Architecture Awards, Queensland is apportioned into 7 regions: Far North Queensland, North Queensland, Central Queensland, Darling Downs, West Moreton, Gold Coast, Northern Rivers, Sunshine Coast and Brisbane. Queensland's regional awards have been prospering vigorously since inception over 35 years ago and holds the highest reputation within each and every region with architects, industry, governments, media, community, sponsors and clients. I'd like to wish all the entrants every success in tonight's awards. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. And with a message for all of tonight's entrants, the Queensland Chapter President, Michael Lavery, has sent through this message.
This year, I have a very simple message. I want to thank all of our clients. By making the commitment to work with an architect, you have made yourselves our greatest advocates. I hope you feel like you've already been rewarded by our knowledge and skills in delivering more than you expected. And to our entrants, congratulations in advance. I look forward to seeing all of the awarded projects at the State Awards in June. But for now, let's celebrate the regions.
Thanks, Michael. Well, as Alice mentioned, Queensland covers a vast area, and a team of 65 jurors were involved in the Regional Awards judging process this year, visiting every project that was entered. And to tell us a bit about the deliberations across the regions, I'd like to hand over to the Queensland Chair of Juries, Eloise Atkinson.
Thanks, Viv, and thank you everyone for joining us. The role of Chair of Duties this year has certainly been a different experience to 2020. Last year, when I had the pleasure of being Deputy to Richard Colson, we were judging projects on Zoom with all entrants working hard to explain the quality of light and space of their projects while we sat at home trying to imagine. This year, we've had the opportunity to visit projects as far north as Cairns, as far west as Winton, and as you all know, there's no substitute for experiencing architecture. In our conversations with regional juries, there have been a few common themes. Perhaps the most significant is the commitment of doing more with less. Sometimes this has been out of necessity, but even with the projects with a healthy budget, there have been conversations with clients about just building what's needed. We've also seen across all categories the embracing of vegetation and landscape. There have been incredibly lush green environments integrated into commercial, education and public projects, as well as the houses. Perhaps some of this attention on landscape and vegetation is a response to COVID. The rethinking of the relationship between home and work has been amplified, with all residential projects considering the reality of how to accommodate whole households working from home. And perhaps more surprisingly, all commercial projects have been looking at how to bring the pleasures of working at home to the office. The calibre of the 107 projects is impressive. However, the number of projects entered has been slowly decreasing over the last 5 years, which is disappointing. Hopefully this is a reflection on the fact that many of the practices are very busy and haven't had enough time to enter their projects, rather than a trend reflecting the lack of projects being funded, particularly in the public sphere. Every visit has reminded me of the importance of good design and the value that architects can bring, particularly to tricky sites and complex briefs across all project types. The passion to achieve the best outcome for clients and the collegiality among members of the profession has been evident throughout our visits. Our unique awards program only exists because our colleagues are prepared to take time out of their practices and away from their projects to take part in the juries. It is an incredibly rewarding experience, meeting colleagues, discussing design ideas and processes, and having robust deliberations with the jury. But it also does take time. So on behalf of the entrants and the profession, I'd like to thank all of those who put their hands up, some year after year, to take part. And of course, the awards can only happen because our members participate and value the process and opinions of their peers. So can I say thank you to all the architectural practices for taking the time to submit their entries and for meeting with the juries. Good luck to each and every one of you and enjoy the night.
Thanks, Eloise. And now to say a few words and introduce tonight's nominees, I'd like to introduce the Sunshine Coast Jury Chair, Lisa Moore, who is joined by fellow jurors Andrew Costa, Graham Richardson and Leah Lennon. Over to you, Lisa.
Thanks, Viv. Hi, everyone. Andrew, Lee, Graham and myself visited 5 entries across 2 days. We travelled from Brisbane to Caloundra, Maroochydore, Noosa, Benura, Hervey Bay and back. We found that the Sunshine Coast has an architecture that's so intrinsically linked to the beautiful environment, and we saw this in every project. Also evident in all projects was successful collaborations between architects and clients. I'd like to extend my gratitude to the architects who presented their projects and to the clients who so generously welcomed us and shared their stories. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners, the Kabi Kabi and Jinibah people of the Sunshine Coast, and also extend this to the Fraser Coast, Butchulla people. Let's take a look at the Sunshine Coast projects.
Estia Health, Maroochydore by Clark Hopkins Clark Architects. Coomber Terrace by Open Architecture Studio and Jasper Brown Architects in association. Door 42 by Push Architects. Amethyst Cove House by Keystone Architects. And Las Palmas by Tim Ditchfield Architects. Well, a great range of entrants across the region. And now let's take a look at the regional commendations for the Sunshine Coast, all of whom are going through to the State Awards shortlist. In the category of Residential Architecture Houses New, the jury have awarded a commendation to Las Palmas by Tim Ditchfield Architects. This project's setback front fence creates a neighbourhood commons, inviting pedestrians to interact with the property. In doing so, they're able to appreciate a framed view of the water through a deliberate gap in the built form along the central axis, anchored by a generous courtyard plan set deep within the site. Modest in size, the rigorous detailing complements the monolithic form in material and elemental articulation throughout the building. And in the category of Residential Architecture Multiple Housing, the jury have awarded a commendation to Coomber Terrace by Open Architecture Studio and Jasper Brown Architects in association. Planning revolves around a vertical light-filled circulation spine stairwell articulated across the facade of the apartment block. The refined crafting of the mass draws inspiration from movements of geology and landform over time, while subtle geometries create moments of contemplation and direct discrete views to the wider landscape context. Efficiency of planning and the generous individual street addresses to each apartment create a connection for the residential community, engaging street life and environmental conditions. And the final commendation, also in the category of Residential Architecture Multiple Housing, goes to Door 42 by Push Architects. The success of Door 42 is in the planning regime and carefully managed sequencing of spaces throughout the facility. The suburban context is purposefully understated to shape a welcoming entrance sequence for at-risk youth seeking refuge. Upon entering, the residential quality thrives, forming the communal heart of the complex. There is a mindfulness of the need to respect the residents' individuality and well-being, which is managed through the layering of incremental levels of independence. Well, congratulations to all of the commendation recipients. And now to the final announcement and the highest honour in the Sunshine Coast Regional Architecture Awards, the Gabriel Poole Award for Building of the Year. And the award goes to Las Palmas by Tim Ditchfield Architects. The architect describes Las Palmas as a pilgrimage in design, inspired by a journey to Palm Springs and the spirit of mid-century modernism. Access to the house along a peripheral covered way, open to the elements, leads the occupant through a subtle and nuanced layering of level changes and floating concrete roof planes, accentuated by highlight windows, serving to amplify the connection to this distinctive site. Upon entering, one is immediately engaged with a broader landscape context, and the jury commends the simple palette of materials which complements and embraces the riverfront location. Congratulations, Tim Ditchfield Architects. And that brings the Sunshine Coast Regional Architecture Awards to a close. I'd like to thank the jurors once again for all of their efforts. Eloise Atkinson, Chair of Juries, Shai Tay, the Deputy Chair of Juries, Lisa Moore, the Sunshine Coast Jury Chair, Andrew Costa, Graham Richardson and Leah Lennon. And congratulations again to the award winners tonight and the shortlisted projects that are going through now to the Queensland State Awards. And we'll be streaming those announcements live with live crosses to the winners on the 24th of June. In the meantime, I hope you can join me tomorrow night at 6:45 p.m. for the Gold Coast and the Northern Rivers Awards announcements. I'd like to thank the Institute's national corporate partners, including principal partner BlueScope and the Queensland chapter major sponsor Hutchinson Builders. A special thanks to the local partners, Illumico, Hika Hoods and Innovative Planning Solutions. To the members watching in Mooloolaba right now, I hope the celebrations continue. Thanks for joining me. It's been a pleasure to be your host. Good night.
This stream is proudly supported by the Institute's national corporate partners, BlueScope, Dulux, BRICKWORKS, Bondor, Lysart, Fielders, Bosch, Built Environment Channel, NBS, Planned Cover, Architecture Media, and the Queensland major state partner, Hutchinson Builders.